And then in my own process of intentional evolution, shedding the weight of those programs was a fundamental rewrite of my entire life story and how I showed up and what I felt and what I experienced on a day-to-day basis. No longer feeling an intrinsic like pull, like I'm literally like lurching my body to illustrate. Maybe you can hear it in the timbre of my voice, but this intrinsic fear-based pull to action just wasn't there for me anymore. And that sparked an opening in my heart. The space that gets created when the old stories are free to dissolve and free to return back to wherever the fuck they came from, as light, as love, is beautiful to me. It's a huge component of why I feel motivated to share it so consistently with so many other people. And to me, the advent of these technologies entering into public consciousness, openly, widely distributed, freely even. You can go on YouTube and you can see live demonstrations of the sovereign mind method and the rapid rewire method and mind shifting and identity shifting. And you name, there's just dozens and dozens of these psychotechnologies that are now just like permeating the veil of the matrix. And so to me, that's like extremely inspiring because we're not alone in this.
Yeah. And so I invoked the word software and you invoked the word uninstall a moment ago. And we've and you're using the word technology, psychotechnology. And I just want to like dial into that and really like embrace that metaphor, not to dehumanize us, but just because I think the analogy is so useful and in some ways just so fitting and real, like practical. As we've created these machines, these thinking machines, it is rather funny how we start to discover that we are not so different from them. It's funny. And I just want to dial into something that we've talked about, which is this technological singularity. Because what you're saying about the proliferation of these new technologies and how much access we have to them now and how much potential there is for our new kind of psychotechnological practices to quicken us or for us to experience that quickening and become intentional of our evolution resonates for me very strongly with Ray Kurzweil's concept of the singularity with artificial intelligence, which I'll just recount very briefly. The idea is that as machines learn how to think and then learn how to program, become self-aware of their own programming and have the ability to change it, that due to presumably faster computational power than us. Although I want to insert a question mark there. I want to insert a push pin with a question mark. It certainly seems like interacting with computers that they can calculate and process certain types of information a lot faster than we can. I mean, what an LLM or a so-called AI model can do when you ask it a question, seemingly scouring the entire body of human knowledge on the internet and providing a very relevant, intelligent-sounding set of data back to that question is extremely impressive, and it doesn't seem like or feel like something we as humans can do. On the other hand, I suspect that we are highly underestimating our potential of what we can do or what our brains are doing actually, and what our brains are capable of. Not just brains, but minds, right? Our entire psychospiritual architecture. Is that what you called it?
I call it psychotecture, but psychospiritual architecture is the correct intent.
Yeah. And psychotecture is a shorthand for that. I like that. That's good. Anyway, so push pin inserted with question mark. Are they really faster than us? I'm actually not sure about that. I think we may have wildly different superpowers or different capabilities. But long story short, Kurzweil's idea is that because they can process this kind of information so fast, that at the point that they begin to rewrite their own programming code, which, gosh, are we at that point now, right now?
Meta claims that 20% of their AI models are self-producing their own code. So we're getting there, apparently.
Yeah. And there comes a tipping point where it becomes a runaway exponential process, meaning the machines are self-reprogramming in an iterative way thousands, millions of generations per second or something like that, and then explode into superintelligence, which this moment is referred to as the singularity, maybe as a reference to the collapsing of a black hole when that critical mass is reached.
Also known as ASI, artificial superintelligence.
So Kurzweil has his own reasons for thinking that will happen and even wanting to create that moment and being excited about it. The point that I'm making, though, is taking that technology analogy and reflecting it back on ourselves and looking at the fact that we also, like our minds, our psychotechnologies, seem to be pretty information based. And information is extremely malleable. It's not surprising, to learn that we can start to discover these latent, hidden patterns and programs, beliefs, memories of experiences, and all these sorts of things that we have, and that they're expressing themselves in our day-to-day experience all the time. And that when we change those underlying beliefs or patterns or thought processes, that our experience changes dramatically or drastically. But to your point, the technology is available and how much access that we have to them now, wouldn't it be the case, or couldn't it at least be possible, that we also could experience our own type of singularity, where by self-iterating our psychological programs, that we could also, as you say, have a breakthrough into something we probably can't actually even imagine precisely or conceive with our current level of consciousness. And that is another meaning to me of intentional evolution.
Yes, yes, as you've called it, aptly so, the human singularity. How do you think human beings right now are doing on that track? Are we close to it? You know, people say that ASI with machines is it's always plus 2 years out, and the predictions are always wrong. But like, how far are we potentially from something like that in your eyes? I'd be really curious.